Hello, everyone. Welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at chapter 18 and 19. And we have a lot that's going on. First of all, chapter 18, they continue downriver looking for this spot where the river turns to blood. And Charlie tries to calculate, okay, if Darwin was moving with this many people walking down 10 days, we could probably do in 4 hours on a speedboat. Wow, which is incredible. And finally, after 4 hours, they get to this point where another river, or they call it tributary, a smaller river that pours into a bigger river, is red. And that's where the river turns to blood. And it looks a lot like blood. So they slow down the boat and they're looking around. And like, where's this tree at? And what kind of tree is it? And Charlie is like, you haven't figured it out yet? And Dante and Milana are like, come on, just tell us. What kind of tree is it? And Charlie says, well, I don't know what kind of tree it is. And Darwin probably didn't know what kind of tree it was. He might have been the first European to ever see any of this stuff. But I have an idea that it looks like that tree. And this tree looks like King's College Chapel. Huge, towering tree reaching out of the rainforest. It's called a kapok tree, which I'd recommend you Google some images. They're huge. Oh my goodness, they're so tall and wide and big, and they're really amazing. They make you feel really small. But this tree is towering out, and it looks just like where the King's College Chapel sat in England, and how it also kind of covered the scenery. And so they found the tree. So as they're going to find the tree, the sun is going down a little bit, and it's becoming twilight, which is where the sun is going down and almost disappearing. And then all these bats and bugs start to come out of the forest. Dante feels a little freaked out, but he wants to be manly for Milana, and so he acts smooth. And they go down to where the tree is, and they all hop out with flashlights. Now, it's getting really dark, especially in this rainforest where all the trees are covered at the top, and at the bottom, not a lot of light gets through. Mosquitoes are eating them, and they're trying to say, come on, Charlie, let's go. Let's get out of here. But Charlie really wants to see where this code is, and she finds it. And she kind of scrapes, and there's bugs and stuff. She's like, guys, they found the code. And the whole time, Dante's been like, Charlie, oh, Charlie. And the last time Charlie looks around, he sounds afraid. And 4 men are pointing guns at Charlie Thorne. That leaves us to chapter 19, which starts off with Oswald Crutcher, or affectionately called Oz. Oz is the manager of this refinery. He was on vacation at Cocoa, or whatever the city's name was. And when everything happened, he had to go back, and he interviewed all the people there. Oh, Oz is from an oil refinery family that lived in Alaska. He didn't like the cold weather in Alaska, so he came down to the Amazon to work on this refinery. But he's been interviewing all the people in the refinery to try and figure out what happened. Because he heard the tankers exploded. Okay, well, they were insured. We can get our money back. But then what? Prisoners were brought aboard? And we held the prisoners? And where did the prisoners go? And some of the details kept getting changed and mixed, because it sounded like something shady or wrong happened. Finally, Oz gets this one worker, Jose, and he's interviewing him, and he finds a crack where Jose talks about how someone came. Maybe they weren't police, maybe they were federal agents. They took the prisoners, and then Oz says, okay, look, I'm going to call the chief police at the nearest town, and I'm going to have them arrest you because I think you did something bad. And Jose said, no, I'll tell you, okay. This guy came, he gave us all money to keep our mouths quiet, and then he took out the prisoners. Ooh, sounds like there's money in this. Maybe a big corporation, maybe some other criminals, I don't know. but Oz wants to retire early. And so he asks Jose, do you remember what kind of boat they were taking? Yeah. Do you remember where they went? Yeah. Do you remember the numbers on the boat? Yeah. Could you recognize it if you saw it again? Yeah. Okay, let's go find it. And they, I guess, take off to go find Ivan. That leaves us with some vocabulary. Invariably means doesn't change. Locomotion is movement. Silt is the really small, soft, refined sand or dirt in a river or ocean at the bottom or carried. Inertia. Inertia is kind of a mathematical physics term, meaning things don't move on their own. This speaker, if it just stays here, it's not going to move. It has no power or energy. So inertia is kind of the math or the laws of movement. So the boat was speeding along, and then Dante killed the engines. But the inertia, the energy, kept it moving forward as it got slower and slower and slower and slower. Bedecked is covered or decorated. The tree was covered with a bunch of different plants and bugs and flowers. Frolicking is like a playful way of moving or walking. Impervious means, and we've had this word before, but not affected by. So if you think of maybe a snake is impervious to poison, and that's not true, but maybe something we'd say. Water could be impervious to fire, right? Fire's not going to really hurt water. It can't be damaged or affected by it. Siphoned, this is like sucking out a little bit. So mosquito siphons, sucks out your blood. Foliage is plant leaves and petals and things like that. Probably on the floor, but it could be also around on the tree still too. Chapter 19, staggeringly is like shockingly. It's like, oh, you stagger means to kind of walk off balance or to move off balance, and something is so shocking you feel off balance. Eerie is strange and maybe a little spooky or scary. Bribed, giving someone money or a favor in order to change their opinion. Hey, I don't want to say that because that actually ties to my discussion question, which is my discussion question here. I want to ask you, there's a lot of great discussion questions, but for you, have you ever been bribed, by someone, have you ever bribed someone? There we go. Have you ever bribed someone or been bribed? Okay, I wrote it right. Have you ever offered some candy to your younger brother or sister to cover up something you did? Or maybe your younger brother or sister gave you some money to cover up something they did. There's many different ways that we can be bribed and stuff like that. I know my wife and daughter sometimes bribe me to maybe get some ice cream or something. But has it ever happened to you? And what story is it? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.